Oh, what's up, friends? I'm going to sneak one in here before we head up to Cowboys practice, which starts in about 10 minutes. But they stretch in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So that's no big deal. We got a brand new roster. We got our new defensive players, if you want to know. Al-Qaeda Muhammad is wearing 92. Shaka Tony is wearing 72. And we'll put eyes on those guys today. But I just wanted to swing through and talk about a few things. I had questions from people. Well, obviously, I have new observations as soon as this practice is over. But before we do, let's knock out some quick stuff as far as CeeDee Lamb goes and his contract situation. I don't know, man. Here's the thing. I'm not a beat writer, so I'm not going to have the scoop, but I do have friends that have talked to both CeeDee's agent and Stephen Jones, and they're optimistic, but I will tell you the Ian Rappaport thing yesterday kind of scared me a little bit in terms of when will CeeDee Lamb actually get here, and maybe that doesn't matter. But yeah, he was like, yeah, I think they'll get CeeDee done before the season starts. And I was like, well, crap. I was thinking they would get CeeDee Lamb done this week or this weekend. And that doesn't mean they won't. They very possibly could. Very possibly could still get CeeDee Lamb done soon. And so there's that. CeeDee Lamb, we'll see. Dak Prescott, who knows? And I got questions from people about CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, things along the lines of, let me find the contract question. How is CeeDee's contract going? We know they're talking. We know they're going back and forth. We know there's been offers submitted both ways. We all know what the numbers are going to end up being. So what takes so long? Hell if we know. CeeDee's got the leverage of knowing the market. The Cowboys, I suppose, could have leverage if they wanted to just be like, play it out and we could still tag you, blah, 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 blah. But the CeeDee contract apparently is going faster than the Dak contract. I think they'll both ultimately end up here, but there's the wild card of maybe Dak's just like, nah, I'm good. Because Dak has all the leverage in the world. Like Rappaport said yesterday on the television, where it was like, what does Dak make if he actually hits the open market? And it might have been Rich Eisen that was like 60 million. Ian was like, over. And so that's what you're dealing with right now is the Cowboys. I and you and everybody else would love Dak to play for like $600,000. Well, I guess his league minimum now would be over $1 million. I'd love him to play for league minimum, but also because you want your team to win all the games, right? You want every player to play on the cheap. But also, I got to be honest with you, I don't exist in a world where I'm cheering for the corporation over the employee. I have seen the benefit of moving around when it comes to employment and when it comes to taking care of yourself, your family, and your friends. And that comes first. Dak's got an agent. His agent has all the leverage in the world. They've used it before. They'll use it again. So I ain't going to get mad at him for it. Okay, so that's that. I want to throw out one name, which I've thrown out a couple of times in camp. But if you guys listen to the Mike McCarthy press conference, you can hear it on 105.3 The Fan or wherever. If you listen to the McCarthy press conferences, you'll get pretty generic stuff from him. Same with the coordinators. When you follow them off the stage to their walk-off, they'll be a little bit more transparent and open. And I'm not a journalist, so I don't know if I should share what's said there, but I'm going to anyway. Because I remember when McCarthy was standing right up there at the podium answering questions and somebody asked him about Damone Clark, linebacker. It was like, taking the green dot where you're the person who's communicating and calling the defense, has taken that away from Damone Clark, kind of helped him or freed him up in some sort of way. And he was careful to be like, I don't want to say anything like that. Well, he just kind of did, where in the walk-off he was talking about, he was asked about Damone because I think it was Todd Archer who had noticed, like, I'm seeing him a lot. I'm seeing him making plays. And Mike said, yeah, his instinctually, he's going quicker. Everything's going quicker. And it probably is not having to have the responsibility of making sure where everybody's doing this and just go do your job. And Damone Clark's looked really good out here. I came out here expecting to be blown away, hopefully, by Overshown, maybe Leafau and Kendricks being steady. But Damone Clark's the dude that keeps showing up. And the other linebacker, it's wild because I hadn't heard his name in years before they re-signed him. Damian Wilson's out here running with the twos and making some plays. So they may have 5, 6 different linebackers that can make this team play special teams. And they got a good linebacker room. I like it. I like the linebacker room. Other things I wanted to get to before I run out to practice. Nobody's talking about Zach Martin. Does he look okay? Zach Martin looks like a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's Zach Martin. So he looks very, very good. Wanted to know who's going to be the left tackle starter week 1. I think it's Tyler Guyton. I would be careful getting too caught up in people who, and I'm not taking shots at anybody because you use what you have when you're talking about the team, right? But if you're not out here and you take a screenshot or a picture that somebody took and it's like, oh, look, Tyler Guyton's the starting left tackle, because I saw some of that from their mock game or walkthrough yesterday. Chuma Edoga is taking way more of the first team snaps, but Guyton was on the field with the first team and going in and getting some reps. But don't take a picture and think, oh, yeah, they did it. They promoted Guyton. He's the new starting left tackle already. That has not happened. Chuma is getting the first team snaps, and then Guyton is mixing in a little bit. But I think by the time that we get there, it'll be clear. Well, it'll be clear one way or the other. So far, the early returns on your first-round pick are that he looks good. And if that continues, he's going to be the starting left tackle. It's only if they think, no, he's absolutely not ready, that won't happen. But it hasn't happened yet. Chuma is taking the first team snaps. Plus Micah when they feel playing him at linebacker. Yeah, and Micah's stuff, they are playing him there some. They are going to move Micah around. Most of the time, as usual, he spends at kind of right end, but he will line up next to another linebacker. He'll line up behind a defensive end. They're playing some games with Micah Parsons and moving him around, and he will be doing all of the things. He will be all over the freaking place. Other questions that I had from people before I get out there. In regards to Lamb and Prescott not signing any extensions, what percentage would you put at their agents playing hardball and wanting the most money versus Dallas being incompetent and slow to signing them? Here's the thing. Yes, now we're at a point where Dak and CeeDee's agents probably are playing hardball because they know the spot that the Cowboys are in. And it's important to remember that in that spot, the Cowboys did this to themselves. You could have signed CeeDee a year ago. And when you give guys their contract reward with multiple years of control still remaining, they're more likely to play ball with you. They did this to themselves with Dak, and now there are going to be people who are tired of the Cowboys not winning playoff games that are going to be pissed at Dak because they're not getting something done and like, oh, we'll just move on from him. He's not worth $60 million. What you're worth is based on what your leverage is. I can speak to that. Like that's what life is. Find leverage, create value, and then you don't have to settle for what someone else wants you to work for. You get to demand it because you've reached the point, because they let you reach the point where all this leverage is sitting in your camp. The Cowboys let that happen. So yes, now it gets harder because the players have leverage. They get more leverage every day that they get closer to the end of a contract. The Cowboys let that happen. Hey, Jeff, you got another job in the works? If so, what is it? LOL. I'd say you'll know in a few weeks. I will say that there is something coming up for me that I was not actively seeking another job. I was going to do this. And I had people who were going to help me with selling ads on this. And this was going to be my living. And it still will be in a way. But yeah, there's something coming that fit too well not to do it. And you'll know in the next few weeks. So there's that. How does the center look? Any wayward snaps commanding the huddle? That's the thing about Brock Hoffman and listening to these coaches talk. Is Mike McCarthy actually talked about it today. Hold on. Your boy takes notes on everything. Where's my Mike McCarthy? Oh, no, this time I took it on the laptop. Mike McCarthy was talking about Hoffman, and so was Shoddy. They both talked about Brock Hoffman. And the thing that seems to be going his way right now and why Cooper Beebe isn't really getting looks yet is they probably just wanted to be more comfortable. And snapping is maybe part of it. I haven't seen bad Cooper Beebe snaps, but what they praise Hoffman for over and over is that Brock Hoffman is commanding the huddle. He knows exactly what he's doing. He communicates to the rest of the line really well, and that coming into a camp where Biadasz is not here and he knows that he's not going to have a chance to play, that he has kind of grasped that leadership and communication, and that he's got that stuff down pat, and they love that. And so we'll wait and see how camp continues to go. If we get in preseason games and it looks like Cooper Beebe is clearly a better player, then you'll have to reevaluate that. But at the moment, they like the way that he runs everything, that he commands everything, and they like having that as they're early in camp. Hey, Jeff, you're awesome. I like that comment. That's a great comment. What a great point by you. Nobody's talking about Zach Martin. Did I do that one? Yep, I did left tackle week 1. I did CeeDee's contract, Dak's contract. Could y'all see them extending someone like Tyler Smith this season or Ferg if it's a big if they get Dak and Lamb done? I don't even think you have to get them done. The Cowboys are always open to do business if you give them what they want. Like Jalen Smith when he signed his contract, or Terrence Steele or Lyle Collins. When you give them the number that they want, they'll do business. It's when they have to pay market value that they just wait and then get bent over. So yeah, they should be. Ferg's into 3 years, right? They should be working on a Jake Ferguson contract. Like, I'd bet on Jake Ferguson. I'd bet that he's going to be a good player in this league for a long time. I know he got screwed by Madden. They didn't have him as a top 19 tight end. I think he's probably a top 10 tight end. So yeah, as soon as he is eligible for a contract extension, you should be working on contract extensions for guys that you know that you're going to want here. Tyler Smith. What is this? This is year 3? Am I wrong? Ferguson only done 2 years, right? So he's not eligible until the end of the year. But yeah, you're good players who you are very confident that they're going to be good players for a long time. You sign them after 3 years in the NFL. You sign them as quick as you can, because that's when you get a deal. And then when you get to, let's say, Jake Ferguson, you sign him after this year, as opposed to waiting for his 4th year to play out, when he knows you might have to franchise tag him if you can't do anything, blah, 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 blah. They're not in a hurry to sign something that they don't love. They'll sign something as opposed to waiting multiple years. So that's how you do it. And then when you get to the point where the Cowboys would be 5 years into Ferguson's career, getting bent over and having to pay the top of market value or wherever he ranks in the market, if you do that 2 years earlier, well, you get the deal done. And then you fast forward 2 years as that market's gone up. And instead of worrying about signing him at that number, you're like, look at that. We're paying him $5 million less than that because we already got it done. The Cowboys don't do that enough. They need to. Please answer my question. Been so curious for weeks. Okay, Jake, let me see. Here's your question. How has the former Giants first-round cornerback looked? What corner are you talking about? The one that retired? You're talking about old... the dude who's not here anymore already? Yeah, the answer is he's not here. The answer is it's over for him. Ferg, Smith, and Bland all eligible at the end of the season. Yeah, sign them all. Sign them all. Yeah, Gary on Conley. Yeah. Conley retired. That's who you're wondering about, I'd imagine. Because, I don't see another former first-round pick Giant on the roster. What do you mean not Conley? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? If Dak doesn't get paid, I would be shocked. I would be surprised if Dak doesn't get paid, but if Dak doesn't get paid, I don't think it'll be a Cowboy choice. It'll be a Dak choice. It'll be that Dak decided, no, you waited this long. I'm going to the open market, and maybe I want to go somewhere else. I don't know. Dak's finally figured out to play the game, which I'm sure he doesn't want to play the game, but you have to play the game at some point where you can acknowledge, like, yeah, never say never. I could play somewhere else. I could do whatever. Like, you have to be a businessman at some point instead of being the guy who's just like, whatever the Dallas Cowboys want, I love them the most, and I want to be here forever. DeAndre Baker's not here either. So I don't know what you're talking about, and I apologize for not knowing what you're talking about. Are you shocked? Are you shocked how good Dak has looked without CeeDee? I've been surprised. Not that I'm surprised of that Dak plays or practices well. Dak's really good. 4th in the Madden rankings, 4th or 5th. Ferguson got screwed by the Madden rankings, and Dak got his flowers. So I'm not shocked, but I'm a little bit surprised that he's able to piece it together and move the ball and score touchdowns and all that with throwing on different plays with literally the first team. He's making plays to David Durden and Kelvin Harmon and Tyron Billy Johnson looks like he's got something, but just the random assortment of names that he's still putting in work with. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Does Cooks look good? Cooks looks fine. He looks exactly like he looks, if you put stock in the fact that last year, as the season went along, Cooks made more plays and was more involved. There's no reason to believe that can't continue for a full season this time and that his numbers look better than they were a year ago. So that's that. All right, I'm going to get out to practice now because they are stretching, but they'll be done stretching soon, and I'm going to go get to my perch where hopefully they don't ban me from that perch because a lot of my analysis is coming from being so close to hearing them coach them, and then I'm getting yelled at by coaches for observing things. I haven't been yelled at directly, just at the podium. We think he looks great. Well, if you're watching him from 6 feet away for an entire practice and you're hearing all the stuff, I shouldn't have said any of this. Please don't stop me from going to that part of the field. It's great. It's a great place to learn things. All right. You guys have a great day. I'll see you after practice. I don't know if it'll be right after or if it'll be this evening, but it's a ghost town now in the media area. I don't want anybody to punch me in the face, so I got to get out to the field. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through, so be cool to everyone. I love you. Be easy.